Do you really understand the value proposition of LinkedIn? Do you even care? What if I was to tell you that there was 750 million LinkedIn users around the world? Would that spike your interest? What if I told you that there is a huge amount of tradies and contractors and blue-collared industry workers that are now on LinkedIn and using it as a business resource? Guys, this is part 2 of How to Become a LinkedIn Guru series that I'm conducting with a colleague of mine. And in this episode, we really dive into understanding the value of LinkedIn. In the last episode, we spoke about how to build your profile the right way. In this episode, we're talking about the cool things that LinkedIn offers that you may not be familiar with, ways that you can find your potential customers using these incredible new tools and tricks that they have. Sales Navigator, all these amazing things. Guys, this is a really, really useful podcast series for any of you guys out there that have an audience or a target customer that is in sort of the business realm, say real estate, strata, project management, so on and so forth. So it's really designed, I suppose, for you guys out there that want to connect with people that can deliver you potentially a lot of work. I really hope you enjoy this episode. I'd love for you to like and share this with somebody that will benefit from it as well. So if you could take 2 seconds to do that, that would be fantastic. I'm encouraging you right now to head across to thesiteshed.com where you can get access to a download which has been left behind, which is designed to show you exactly step by step how you should create your LinkedIn profile. It's extremely useful, and my profile has been built exactly off that. So guys, please go check it out. It's pretty cool and it's free. That's all from me. Let's jump right in. Today's podcast has been proudly brought to you by Tradies Web Guys. Tradies Web Guys work with tradespeople only on their websites and marketing solutions to help them stand out from their competition. Everything from web design through to SEO, search engine marketing, content creation, you name it, guys. It is a customized solution for trade-based organizations, and it's fantastic. Head across to tradieswebguys.com.au/apply, fill in the form, and let's have a conversation.
Giving tradies and contractors around the globe the tools to run a modern business. You're listening to Toolbox Talks from the Site Shed. Now here's your host, Matt Jones.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the Site Shed podcast. You're joining myself, Matt Jones, with Jake Bracey from Underdog Agency for part 2 of the LinkedIn series that we are creating here, I should say. Jake, welcome back.
Great to be here, Matt. Thank you.
Jake, just a bit of a recap on episode 1 there. We were speaking about creating your LinkedIn profile. Guys, if you didn't get a chance to listen or watch that, head across to the Facebook group or jump into YouTube and go and watch that before you listen to this episode, because Jake ran through a framework which he's basically developed, where he's developed my own profile. And there's also going to be a template available for you guys. If you head across to the show notes over at thesiteshed.com, you'll be able to get access to that template where you can take the template and apply it to your own profile. So you can actually build it out step by step the right way. So definitely make sure you go and grab that. But in that episode, we did go through all the different sections within the personal profiles, and we spoke about, I suppose, the relevance of them and how you can build them to make your profile stand out. So definitely worth your time. Jake, in this episode, we're talking a little bit more about the value proposition of LinkedIn. And I think it's an important conversation because many people out there, like myself a couple of months ago, didn't really understand the value proposition of LinkedIn. And now that we've sort of been running some campaigns for the last couple of months, it's sort of become a little bit more apparent to me. But I think there's probably a lot of people out there that are in a similar boat where they don't really know if it's the right tool for them, and probably for good reason. Maybe it's not. So I think we're going to dive into a little bit in this episode about, who it would best suit, who maybe it wouldn't suit as much. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, I suppose, some of the cool things that you can achieve through using LinkedIn, and some of the tools that are associated with the LinkedIn suite, if you want to call it that these days.
Sure, yeah. Sounds good, yeah.
Now, I suppose fundamentally, it's important to recap and just say that regardless of whether or not LinkedIn is going to be the right tool for you from a business perspective or from an outreach perspective, it is important for you to claim your real estate, claim your profile, and set it up the right way. Because as you said in the last episode, Jake, it will provide social proof. And if there's anyone on there that does want to do a bit of digging, it is a professional business platform. So if somebody does want to find out more business related information about you, beyond your website, then they're probably likely to head across to LinkedIn as opposed to, going to Facebook. And they're probably more likely as well from a business relationship perspective to want to connect with you via LinkedIn as opposed to Facebook, which is kind of more more family and friends orientated.
Yeah, that's right. You can actually have a lot more professional and serious conversations on LinkedIn, and it's actually more expected on that platform.
Yeah, cool. And I'm looking forward to the next episode where we're going to dive in a lot more to the outreach process and some of the engagement strategies, because, while we're on the topic there of connecting with the right people, there's certainly right and wrong ways to go about it. And I see a lot more wrong than right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So cool. I mean, I'd like to start with, I suppose, some of the cool tools that are available within the LinkedIn suite, which are they're relatively new, I suppose. I know Microsoft bought LinkedIn not too long ago, didn't they?
Yeah. So there's now currently it's about 750 million users on LinkedIn. So
wow,
it is growing, and it's grown a lot since its beginnings, which it actually did start out as a recruitment platform for a lot more sort of, what would you say, professional, like white collar, I guess, like, just like administration, finance. That's how it first started. But now, because of the growth, it's now a lot more accessible for many other industries.
Interesting. Wow, that's crazy. 750 million users.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing actually.
Yes, it is interesting that you say that started as a white collar thing, because that was certainly the impression that I got back in the day. It was very, very business orientated, or corporate business orientated. Whereas
corporate, that's right. Yeah, that's the word I was trying to think of. Yeah, corporate.
And I think today, and to be fair, it's probably largely due to the connections that I have and the my networks and associations, but there's a huge element of trade, like a huge representation of blue collar sort of workforce, tradies, so on and so forth, that are taking advantage of LinkedIn, or hopefully after this series they'll be taking better advantage of it, but they're certainly present there. So I think I'd like to encourage all you guys out there that are a little bit on the fence as to whether or not it's worthwhile setting up profile, regardless of whether or not you want to use it as an outreach tactic. Definitely be present there, because I can tell you right now, your competitors are.
Yeah, that's right. And up until and before I started learning about LinkedIn, I had the same stigma. I thought that it was for guys in suits, like it was their platform kind of thing. It kind of belonged to them. But now I realize it's actually everybody's on there, and there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Yeah. So when Microsoft acquired LinkedIn, it looks like they've put quite a lot of work into revolutionizing some of the offerings there, and I know they've introduced a number of different features, I suppose, if you want to call it that, which to be honest with you, have absolutely no idea what they do, but I'm hoping you do. There's the the Sales Navigator feature, there's the Recruiter feature, there's the Careers feature. I suppose the one that's going to be more relevant to this conversation is the Sales Navigator feature. Do you just want to tell us a little bit about what that is and what it does?
Yeah, sure. So these are the premium features on LinkedIn that you pay a monthly fee for,
as opposed to, because LinkedIn's free, right?
Yeah.
for everyone, but if you want the premium features, you can upgrade.
That's right. Yeah. So it is a free platform. What these features allow you to do is, first of all, it gives you access to advanced searching. So LinkedIn has a lot of information on people and where they are, what they do, access to their keywords on their profile, things like that. It allows you to use advanced search tools so that you can find very specific types of people.
Okay. Interesting.
I personally use Sales Navigator the most. I'm less familiar with the other two, but they essentially are, but they do the similar things. They're all very similar. So
yeah, I know, because when I had to upgrade to Sales Navigator for you to get in there and do what you're doing with my profile, there was a bit of information on the other two, and I think they were kind of targeted more towards people that are, well, the recruiter I think was targeted towards more people that are in the recruitment industry. You know, like it was quite an expensive program, I think. Whereas I think the Sales Navigator one, it's like $100 a month or something. It's not a lot of money.
That's right, and it's also free for the first month too. So
right,
if you did want to get in there and check it out, you can really take advantage of that first month. And especially for a lot of guys who are just doing local stuff,
yeah,
you'd easily be able to, search your entire local area in that first month. So it is a tool there that's available, that you can take advantage of.
So in terms of, I suppose, who would get the most value out of LinkedIn, like the listeners and viewers out there, there's quite a mixed board. I mean, obviously we've got, a lot of people that follow the show that are in, I suppose, more of a corporate construction role, where they might be, project managers, or they could be architects, or they could be, designers, so on and so forth. So obviously you think that kind of thing would be very suited towards, LinkedIn. For anyone that might be looking for jobs, or they might be looking for staff or team members, or so on and so forth. But then there's also, I suppose, that business to customer element as well, which I know you said offline that there's quite a good opportunity there for, your day-to-day residential maintenance business owners to take advantage of LinkedIn. And I'm just wondering what that might look like from your point of view.
Yeah, sure. So you're able to use the searching functionalities on LinkedIn, and you can get even postcode specific. So you could put in your postcode and then say the surrounding postcodes, or like a 10K radius or something like that, and put in, looking specifically at the construction niche, which is also one of the filters you can use. And it's going to bring up everyone in construction in your area. So
wow,
that could actually be, a very valuable exercise to go through, just to check out who's around. You can then start to look at ways of actually reaching out and connecting with these people for just to build relationships, to build your referral network.
Yeah.
Even just reaching out to other tradies and saying that this is where you're at, just to connect with them, see where they're at, just things like that. Reach out to, say, real estate agents.
Yeah.
If you're looking for, say, small maintenance stuff like that. I'm sure that most guys are going to know the right people that they would benefit most from connecting with.
So would it be fair to say that it's not, in your opinion, best suited for somebody that's out there trying to connect with your mums and dads, your homeowners, that kind of clientele? So, maybe maintenance plumbers that don't do strata, or they don't do real estate work. They're more targeted towards, cash on delivery style, jobs where they show up to the job and do a job, someone finds them on Google, they show up, they do the job, they leave, kind of thing.
Yeah. So you're not going to really be able to know who's, so you're talking about people who are reaching homeowners just for domestic small jobs, right?
I mean, I can see the value. I can see the value for tradespeople that are really looking to connect with real estate agents, strata partners, property management, people or syndicates, corporate organizations in the building and construction industry, like maybe your bigger builders and so on and so forth. I can see the value there, but I'm just wondering if it's really much value in, the plumber down the road who goes door to door and does jobs for homeowners.
The reason why it could work for them is, first of all, just to be on the platform helps, but you are able to find other tradesmen around you that if you reach out and connect with them, you never know, they might need you one day, or it's just going to help your local presence as well.
That is actually a really good point. And that's like, it's really, you can't underestimate the power of those sort of connections. And I know even like with all the events and stuff that we run, some of the biggest takeaways from those events is the networking element and who's at their gigs and who they get to meet there. And like we've had, like, it's crazy the amount of work some of these guys have got from each other from a referral basis, just from being there and making the introduction. So I completely agree with that. I think there's a massive advantage of being present in that capacity. I do, though, I wonder, I mean, it would be fair to say, though, it's not the kind of place you're going to go to try and connect with mums and dads that are looking for somebody who can replace a hot water heater. No,
it's not going to work that way, because first of all, you're not going to know who's who, because this platform, it tells you what you do as professionally. You're not going to know who's owns a house or what, it won't work that way.
Yeah. So for all you guys out there that are in that boat, if you're you like emergency service providers, or you do those sort of, block drains, that kind of thing, although it's important for you guys to have a profile, and you may as well, because it won't cost you anything to do that. It's unlikely that you're going to be able to use LinkedIn as a source to generate leads for you guys, because your leads are not the type of people that are looking for your services on LinkedIn. Although they may very well be present on LinkedIn from a business capacity, it's going to be hard for you to find them.
Exactly, yeah. That's going to be much more suited to running Google ads, where people are actually looking for you and searching for you. The power of LinkedIn is in networking, building your referral networking base, just getting more known in the area. So
it does raise a good point, I suppose, talking about being present and claiming your profile and that kind of thing. And I mean, a lot of the guys out there run their own businesses. A lot of the guys that listen and watch this show obviously are business owners. But from a recruitment perspective, and as you said before, like LinkedIn was originally designed as a recruitment platform. So it is a very good place for you to go and find potential candidates, if you want to call them that, for roles or positions that you may be looking to fill. And on the flip side, if you're out there and you are in business and you're a plumber, a sparker, you're a builder, or whatever, and you're thinking, well, there's not really any point in me creating a profile. That alone is a pretty good reason. I mean, if you're present on the profile and there's people out there that are looking for what you do, your type of, profile or whatever, you want to be bloody sure that you're on there and that you can be found.
That's right. I think that there are a lot of opportunities out there that you will then be exposed to just simply by being on there. And I can tell you too that especially a lot of the younger guys are much more savvy these days online, so they're going to be looking at all the different platforms to be connecting. So if you are looking, say for apprentices, or even just for people who are the younger guys who are newer into the industry, there's a good chance they're going to be on here too, looking around. So
you probably find as well, it's a pretty good filter. Like, I know people that have spent the time to, create a well-optimized LinkedIn profile are probably going to be the type of people that are going to be a pretty good candidate for a potential business interview.
Definitely. It does go a long way that people have at least made that effort, are going to be someone who's takes themselves more seriously than someone who's not going to that effort. So yeah, absolutely.
So I suppose in summary, like, understanding the value of LinkedIn, although it is a business to business kind of platform to a degree, it's important for everyone out there to be present, because you never know the opportunities that can come from it. I mean, you could take me as a prime example here. I mean, I used to be a plumber, and now I've got sort of more of a, I run a digital agency and a podcast. But I mean, the amount of opportunities that we get coming through LinkedIn for connections and even job opportunities. People say, "Oh, this guy runs a marketing company." Like, I get all the time XYZ's looking for a marketing manager, or whatever it is. So I imagine that, I mean, if I didn't have a profile, I certainly wouldn't be exposed to those opportunities, which, to be fair, I'm not interested in. But it is kind of, what is interesting is how many of them do pop up and are presented to my profile. I find that quite intriguing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all location based and skills based. So it is, that there's plenty of opportunity on there. And like I was saying before, the user base is growing quite rapidly, and people are realizing that it is actually a platform that can be more relevant to what they're doing. So it doesn't just belong to the corporates for them to talk amongst themselves. It actually really does, benefit everybody now. So yeah.
I think that's a really interesting paradigm shift, using LinkedIn as a referral network, like just using it as a way to connect with, people or whatever in your, in your local area, using it in that way, in that form, because that's something that I hadn't really thought about doing before either.
Because otherwise, we know what it's like on site. The only time you ever meet people is if you're on the same job as them.
Right.
Or if you ask someone, hey, I need someone to help me with this. Do you know anyone? Which is obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's actually, on LinkedIn, you can actually look at your entire suburb or even the surrounding suburbs or your entire city if you've got something more specific, and you can see them all. They're all on there, just all right in front of you. So it could be really valuable.
I love it. All right, cool. Well, I reckon we can wrap this one up. We're going to come back with the third and final episode of this series on LinkedIn for tradies and contractors. As we said, guys, the purpose of this series is to give you guys a better understanding on the LinkedIn platform, so that you can leverage it to the best of your ability. It's not designed to give you something else, another time waster in your life. It's really designed to put you front and center on a platform that is growing day by day, with 750 odd million users on LinkedIn. It certainly would make sense for you guys to be there. So, again, we're not trying to give you another thing to do, another thing to add to your list of important things to master, but this is really about just being front and center on a platform that is growing, and to give you, I suppose, the best start with it, or the best opportunity, or give you an idea of where you can focus some of your attention if you do decide that it's something that you want to sort of double down on. The first episode, we spoke about creating a LinkedIn profile, so head back across there and check that one out. There's also going to be a download available where you can, Jake's left behind a framework for you to follow, so you can go and build out your profile according to some of the best practices, which will be highlighted in that document. This episode obviously was all about understanding the value of LinkedIn. So now that you've got your profile built, okay, well, let's try and figure out what the value is for me and my business, and where I might want to apply some of my attention. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some of the outreach and engagement strategies that you can apply to your LinkedIn profile in the next and final episode. So, Jake, thank you for your time. It's been great. Guys, look forward to having you back on the next episode where we're going to close up this series. So I'll chat to you again soon.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Toolbox Talks. If you're liking what you hear, then you can head across to the siteshed.com, where you can join our community by signing up to our Toolbox Talks. You'll get sent a weekly notification, which is basically a highlight of everything that we've spoken about during that week, along with any other industry news that may be relevant or specific to the trades. If you're enjoying the show, you can head across to iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, where you can leave us a review. That would be fantastic, and all the reviews get read out in the show. Likewise, if you have any friends or colleagues that you think would benefit from this show and the episodes that we create, then please go ahead and share it with them.